Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And we have a ridiculous amount of news this week.
Yes.
Last week we had a lot. This week
we have way more.
Way too much.
Paris Games Week was PlayStation's thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, by the time last episode aired, we had already way outpaced ourselves as far as the news that had come out. So we'll try to get through them pretty quick. We have opinions on all of them.
We do.
But we will definitely be trying to move a little bit quicker.
So in the interest of brevity, we will be doing a little quicker. It won't be as much rambling this time. We say that now. We'll see what happens. Starting off with Nintendo and their mobile games. This is Nintendo, not a Nintendo type property, but actually Nintendo's mobile game.
Right. This is Nintendo's first offering since they started their arrangement with DNA.
Yeah.
And they had told us that we were going to get our first one this year. Mm-hmm. That is not actually going to be the case.
Correct.
The first one is going to launch in March of next year.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. I'm completely fine with delays. Make sure it's ready. This is still within the window where it's a sweet amount of time of, I'll remember this in March. Mm-hmm. I will remember this announcement. It's 5 months away.
Yeah, and I will still have a mobile device at that time.
Oh, yes, we will. But if you go further out than that, then that tends to be a problem. I'm happy about this, though, and Reggie and some of the other guys at Nintendo have been saying that if they announce something, that it means that it's coming down the pipeline really soon. They don't like to talk about further than a year, which I've actually really liked about Nintendo. When people keep talking about, they had a Nintendo Direct when E3 happened, and they said, okay, well, what about the new Zelda?
Yeah, and
what about the new Zelda? Well,
they didn't have a whole lot of news, and some people were like, "Well, there's nothing here."
Yeah.
But the thing is that if by the time we see a Nintendo game, what we're seeing is what we're going to get.
Yes.
And there have been a lot of games, Watch Dogs in particular comes to mind, as it was introduced. And then it came and it evolved and it changed and it skewed all kinds of ways. And so the final product was not what they were originally intending to make.
Correct. I mean, Nintendo has done that twice before when it comes to the Zelda franchise. Mm-hmm. I think they've learned from their mistakes on that, because it's not that the game was worse. It's not the game, the graphics were worse. But there was a big change. I believe it was before Wind Waker. They had one that they were going to be doing, and then they switched. They weren't liking what they were doing. They weren't liking how the hardware was working with it. They switched graphical designs they came up with, and it bothered some people. It wasn't lesser quality. It was just different.
Yeah, it was
kind of
different.
Like when Borderlands first came out. They weren't going to be cel shaded. Mm-hmm. So the first bits of that were not cel shaded, and then they switched the art style.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, so the early stuff on there wasn't cel shaded, and they switched the design on that for the better.
Yeah,
because
it works.
It's already a gritty area, so give it a little fun. So, speaking of Nintendo, also
before we get off of this topic, it's going to be it's called MeTomo.
Yes,
and it's going to be a communication type thing where you make me and you talk with people, and it said that it's meant to be more of a device where people are using it to communicate to people without any of the privacy invasion concerns and everything, and we can just talk with people, which I think could be an interesting forum. It could be similar to, like, on the internet, you can say whatever you want because
the internet,
anonymous, or even not anonymous. People don't really seem to care, but yeah. So they're putting out this communication thing. It's not a game yet. This one's going to be free, and the rest of them are going to be pay, like you buy them. And yes, that's okay. I'm willing to buy a game that you make before I play it or whatever. And so I don't think this one's going to be for me, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, and who knows, it might be fun. There might be more to it, because they were talking about similarity to Tamagotchi Life, and we said we were going to be briefer. So next topic,
Nintendo still. So Mario Kart, this does not surprise me at all. They announced Mario Kart has sold 5.8 million copies. So 50% of the people who have the Wii U have Mario Kart 8. This doesn't surprise me at all. That doesn't surprise me at all, honestly.
At all.
At all.
50% attach rate, and you're going to say, meh, I saw this coming.
It's Mario Kart.
People
said this about Smash Brothers, but I completely disagree.
Okay.
Because Mario Kart, you have the casual, you have the hardcore, you have a really broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers, you're going to have the hardcore and some of the people who want to play some group stuff. But the casual gamers, most of them don't want to play it.
Well, there are some fighters that I like.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers is not for me because I can't even get a hold of like it's a completely different control scheme.
It's very different.
And I can come back on the platform, get knocked off, come back on the platform, get knocked off, and that's about all I do.
Yeah.
So if you want to invite somebody over to your Smash Brothers party for everybody to beat up on,
him, and I can be fodder as well. I still think it's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah, but Mario Kart is more open-ended, and it's easier for people to wrap their minds around. It's you drive.
Yeah. Now the curious thing that I would say about that, actually, this doesn't surprise me on that. It surprises me more that we didn't hear, not Mario Maker. Mario Maker's got its thing going on, but it surprises me more that we haven't heard something like this with the other Mario games that have been out, new Mario Wii U. But I think that the reason for that is it's still a 2D platformer, and I think if we got a Wii U Galaxy, the 3D version, that we would see similar numbers. And I bet they've been trying to work on it, and they haven't gotten to it.
Mario Galaxy didn't sell that well. Like pull up stats and charts and things. Mario Galaxy, we love it. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. It's an incredible advance for the system, and it's a really, really impressive thing. But it didn't sell.
That's true.
So
that's sad. But Mario Maker's been selling pretty well. Not been amazing.
Mario's only just over 1 million. Splatoon is outselling Mario Maker. I don't get it.
There's a lot of kids out there.
Yeah, it's also in Japan. It's huge.
Yeah,
and which is interesting.
Yeah,
but more stats.
There's more stats.
Weird market things.
More stats, but yeah, Mario Maker it has an update coming out, so they're going to bring out checkpoints.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Checkpoints, and then also they're going to make it where if you do a thing, and then when you hit it, it will be like the regular blocks are, where if you hit, it can be a fire flower or mushroom depending on what Mario's state is. So it's like
and depending on your size.
Right, the ones that are in the actual game.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that because it's just that little extra level of whatever.
That way you won't get a flower if you're small. Because right now, if you put a flower there, it's a flower.
Right, it's a flower's a flower.
Flower's a flower. Which is cool, but to be able to give that option to say, no, this scales with you.
Right, and it makes it a bit more tricky where, if you can maintain this power up all the way through the level, then Yeah.
So I like that. I like the checkpoint aspect of it, and you'll be able to come up with some more robust levels that don't have to be played through in one go. So I kind of like that. I like that. But speaking of things that can be stories and all that, Halo 5 story.
Yeah.
So this really, really, really disappoints me.
It was. Yeah, because like the advertisements and everything, it was all about the story, and it was this grand conflict between Locke and Master Chief, and Locke thinks that Master Chief's a villain, and
hunt for the truth, and figure out what this is really.
Just listen to that if you haven't. Listen to that podcast. That podcast is amazing.
Yes, it really is.
After you finish this one.
Yeah.
But like they sold it on a story. And then you actually get into the game, and you have 3 total missions with Master Chief out of the 18.
Yep.
So you got this little segment, and like, yes, Locke is pursuing Chief, but it's not to bring him to justice. It's not to. He's not hunting the truth.
Yeah.
Because
this isn't spoilers. This isn't spoilers here. We're just saying.
I could spoil,
but we're not going to spoil. We're just saying the ads were misleading.
Right, and there's actually an op-ed up on IGN that says the ads lied to us, and it's a really interesting piece. I don't think that one's spoiler either, but like they went and they pushed the story, and then they didn't deliver on the story.
Give it the wrong story.
Yeah. And
you order a burger and you get salmon. It's not that I don't want salmon. It's not that I don't like salmon. I didn't want salmon. I ordered a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happened.
So I feel like this is something that maybe this is because I want all the games to be for me. They're not. And there are going to be a lot of people who are really happy with the multiplayer aspect because the multiplayer is amazing.
It is.
Like it's really, really impressive, and the 20-on-20 battles are just like it's got the grandiose scale.
Yeah.
that a lot of people were looking for.
And I think that's going to work. And like you said, this makes me feel better about not getting the game, because this game isn't for me either. It didn't have a split screen co-op, which I also heard, this is a rumor, but I've heard they've been talking about, like, they've not been open about it, but the rumor is that the next Halo is going to have split screen back again, because
because
they got so much backlash from me and other people. So the story's not there, split screen's not there. I may rent this at one point, but and another thing about story not being there, I'm not going to harp on the story, but Call of Duty was in the news a little bit here. There's a Call of Duty Loyalty Program.
This is Call of Duty Happy News.
Happy News.
2 pieces.
Happy News, but you've got to be quick.
Yes, because the Call of Duty Loyalty Program is, if you got to certain levels in previous games, then they're going to reward you for it, and you get like badges and special guns and pretty cool stuff.
Unique gun.
Yeah, and if you got to Prestige, then you get all the things. And but that needs to be, you need to go to EA's website and link that all, or not EA, Activision.
You have to link that account with, you have to link that account with your existing Steam account or PlayStation account or whatever, so that way it can see how far you've gotten, and then it'll give you the reward. Right. And you have to do this by the 5th.
And that's kind of a cool reward. And then the other piece of Call of Duty news is the 3 March. I think it's just March. March of next year, they're going to have official mods for the PC version, which is really cool, because between we have Mario Maker, we have the Fallout mods, we have this mod. It seems like developers are a lot more open to allowing the community, because like Counter-Strike started off as a mod. Yeah, people are still playing Counter-Strike. And the amateur creativity that comes, I think will influence and work with new games. Yeah. So even if the mods are interesting and they give the professional developers new ideas, even if nobody creates a mod, gets a job, whatever, which that would be the dream, right? Yeah, just make a mod, get a job. Yeah. But I like the idea that more and more companies are open to the idea. Yeah. That's all it takes.
And that actually does work, though. If you have made a mod and you put that in your portfolio, there are companies that look at those mods. So,
absolutely.
Bethesda especially, and we're talking about the mods, and we're talking about with Call of Duty, with Fallout 4. Bethesda has just announced that all the mods that are going to be on PC or console, because it's going to be on both. For if you guys didn't hear that already, it's been
PC, Xbox, PS4.
Yeah, anything that's a mod on PC is going to be a mod on Xbox and eventually PS4. So
that's cool.
because of the way they did the architecture, if someone makes a PC mod, you can play it on Xbox. PS4 is going to get it down the line. Xbox gets it first. Yeah.
So there's enough to do to keep you busy. So
you'll be fine. You'll be fine until you wait for those. But Bethesda put out their user agreement for that. This is a slight leak, but the user agreement for that says that all mods have to be free. So if you're making a mod, you can't profit off of it. There were people who were doing that on Fallout New Vegas, not as much New Vegas, but on Skyrim, people were doing that a lot. And you would come out with a different mod, and it's $2, $3, $5. Yeah. But this is a community thing.
And they want it to be. They want to reduce the barrier of entry, and if you have the dollar ones, then it's going to attract a different group, and so they're trying to cultivate a make a thing and share it.
Yeah, if it's good, people will share it. Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, there are a ton of these that things you wouldn't imagine that were on Skyrim. Very, very small, minute things that got shared everywhere because it made one little part of the game a little more realistic, more little part of the game a little better, and that mixed with everything else made the experience that they wanted. But I think speaking of experiences that people want, Arkham Knight is now, so after the debacle of the PC release, and then they removed it because of all the bugs, and they brought it back, and then we didn't even get to talk about after they brought it back to Steam. Steam marked all of the reviews before the re-release as pre-release.
As pre-release, yeah.
Even though the game was released.
Yeah.
But then the argument was that essentially that was when the game released proper, which is not true.
Nope.
It's a lie.
Nope.
So now essentially it's so broken. There's a 12 gig 12 gig patch for it, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll believe you.
It's crazy. It's crazy broken, and they've essentially said, "All right, full refund if you want to go grab your refund."
Yeah.
So,
and the patch works for some people.
Yeah.
Some people came back in, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's fine," but like they had a lot of like XLI and Crossfade. Mm-hmm. They still can't get them to work 4 months after the game releases, and I don't pre-order almost anything. I will pre-order from software games.
Yeah,
that's it.
Bethesda.
I am more excited about Fallout 4 than I've been about any game in a very long time. Yeah. But there were issues when it was released on PS3. The last one, Skyrim. When that released on PS3, there was weird issues. If you left a door open in certain places, your game could crash and be unrecoverable.
I didn't hear about that one. I heard about the if you leave too much stuff out.
Well, because if you leave the door open, then it has to maintain all the items in that room.
No. Anytime you're in it. No, like it has to maintain all the items in the room. Like if you go into a specific area, like if you go into a cave, right. Cave level 1, it has to maintain all the items in that cave always. Now when you leave and come back.
But if you leave doors open in the town, then every time you go to the world, it's loading all those rooms and all the items within them.
Oh, you can't leave the doors open. That had to be a mod then, because you can't open doors like that.
Okay.
You can go through the door.
We'll figure this out later. You fact check us.
Yeah.
We don't.
The biggest
anyway,
bug
but it was broken.
Leaving items.
There was bugs. Yeah. There was bugs. It was broken and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I've not pre-ordered Fallout 4. Yeah. I'm gonna wait till it comes out and then I will buy it. But this really disappoints me because WB is a great company that puts out some amazing stuff. Shadow of Mordor was one of my favorite games of last year. It was really, really good.
Fantastic game.
But if a company is willing to do this, I'm not going to give them any money until they prove to me that they didn't do this again.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so that's bleh. Next topic.
Next topic's Quake Live.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of companies that people are upset with, okay.
We'll get this all out of the way right now.
Yes. So Quake Live has been free on Steam for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And,
a year? Almost a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they relaunched it as a $10 game, which is mostly the same game, but they have like leaderboards and like they did add like some content to it. But when they did that, they reset everything.
Yes.
The clans are gone, the stats are gone, the communities are gone, the friends are gone, the lifetime kill death ratio, like all of this stuff just got wiped.
The social part's my problem with that, honestly. The stats don't matter as much as to me because that happens. Leaderboards wipe. You have seasons in Diablo and in Hearthstone.
But who remembers what people are in their clan? Nobody.
No.
Nobody knows that stuff.
No.
And trying to rebuild those communities that you've spent the last year is just. Yeah, so that was just there's just been a bunch of weirdness on Steam lately. And that really upset a lot of people. Yeah. And I there's not really any more to it than that piece of news, but
but in all of the clans that I've been in MMOs and everything, I usually remember a couple people in the guild, maybe 2 or 3, and that's it. Everybody else, I can see them in chat or see them in the world and know that they're in my guild, but I don't remember every single person.
Well, there's also spelling iterations. Gildofer.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you spell Gildofer? You don't know. He doesn't know.
I barely spell my own character's name sometimes.
Yeah.
But speaking of these communities and MMOs, so Video Game Archives won in court. So essentially, this isn't all games, but a lot of abandonware server-based games are essentially now it's legal to run those for fan servers.
Right, and so the company that makes the game can't hassle you for running your own server. There's some interesting iterations. Like a lot of companies keep a bunch of assets on their own servers, and so if you try to run it there, then it's going to be kind of wonky.
Yeah.
But it is an important step for video game preservation.
It really is. The first thing that I thought about when I saw this news was Star Wars Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies was a great game, and there actually is a community, and not 100% legal until now. There have been a community of there is a fan server. You can run your own server of it if you know what you're doing. But there's a server that has between 1,000 and 5,000 players on it of this right now of Star Wars Galaxies, and it's playing it in the vanilla version. It's before they start adding expansions and screwing up the Jedi and everything.
You be a Jedi, and you be a Jedi, and you be
So you can be an animal wrangler and all these animal handler and all these other cool things and train rancors. And it was a really great game, and there were a lot of really cool community stuff. That was my first time being in an MMO, and really just engulfing myself in that. So now it's legal to run that server, so they could advertise more or whatever they need to do.
And it's the biggest thing for me is that this is a situation where it's legally recognized that game preservation is a thing.
Yes.
And that these are things that sometimes when a company abandons a game, that doesn't mean that the community is not there, that people don't still love it. It's just that it's not profitable anymore.
Exactly.
And I think it'll be important in the future. Like, some games are really, really hard to emulate, but people are willing to go there and put in time. And if people are willing to do things, let's keep this stuff up.
Yeah. Speaking of profitable, Rocket League.
Okay, so we've now reached the PlayStation section, and like I said, Paris Games Week was last week, and PlayStation actually skipped on Gamescom this year. That was just kind of a Microsoft thing, and they saved up all their news for Paris Games Week.
Correct.
And so we have a bunch of that news to get through. We will try to get through that fairly quickly.
Yeah.
First off is. No, I'm not even going to try to remember the name of the game that they had before. It's Super Rocket Punchy Jumpy Cars.
Rocket League? Oh, was it called something else before that?
Okay, the mods... Okay, brief history. All right, the company that made Rocket League first made a Super something other Jumpy Cars game. And it was... The mods in that game are based on Unreal Tournament.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of the same, inverting gravity and jump super high and all kinds of fun stuff. And so they're bringing a lot of the mods from Unreal Tournament, from that game, to this one.
Mix, match, and mutate.
Mix, match, and I like that.
Yeah.
So, Rocket League mutates and changes, and you can do all kinds of weird things. Oh. And I'm excited because... this is something that I can buy, and there's flags and things, but this is kind of something that they've made that I want to purchase because I got it for free on Plus, and I want to give them money because they made an amazing game.
They did,
and I know they got some, but they sold 5 million or something, and it's a really popular thing because they made a great product. And I want to reward them for that. So I'm excited.
Exactly. You need to support developers. If someone's making something really great, support them because it may be a huge thing, it may be a small niche thing. Either way, you need to support them so they know. Vote with your dollars.
Indeed.
Gran Turismo, along with racing, Gran Turismo Sports coming out PS4, so it's beta is 2016. Is that
the beta is going to be early in 2016.
Which means we may get it towards the end of the year.
I'm hoping for that. But Gran Turismo has had kind of a history of revealing a bit too soon, and so I think this announcement. I'm hoping that this announcement is a reaction to that. The other thing that's interesting is that it's releasing as Gran Turismo Sport.
Yes,
I think it's going to be more of a platform, kind of like Drive Club was, where it's like, hey, here's our thing. Here's the rest of it, and you pick up what you want, but you can test it out, and then they can continue to develop it, and Polyphony can keep on working on it.
Exactly. Speaking of Drive Club is adding motorcycles.
Yes, it is.
That's cool. I like that because it may not be the most the best thing to choose to race. If you've played Grand Theft Auto, if you played San Andreas and tried to race, not San Andreas, sorry, like Vice City or any of that, you tried to race on a motorcycle. doesn't work well.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Well, I mean,
It's really fun.
honestly, in real life, racing on motorcycles also very difficult.
Very difficult. Lots of danger. But I think it's really cool they're adding that because that is something people like to do. It's a and a motorcycle only niche game, unless you're doing motocross, those are different. But a motorcycle racing game is too niche in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you bring it all in,
but there's there's a whole different element to it because you can slide around corners and the whole drifting thing is part of what you're doing in a car. You need to look at the track in a different way as far as bike racing goes, and that mental shift I think is going to make for some really interesting things, and I'm looking forward to seeing. They have most of the courses open, but they also have specific motorcycle courses. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
that will be. If you can mix and match, have you seen yet? Can you mix and match where you're racing a bike with a bunch of cars?
I don't think so. Because
that would be bad. That would be really bad. I mean, because then you either get the ultra realistic thing, which is that anyone in a car hit the motorcycle, because you'll win
every time.
Or if you go to the arcade version where you hit them and they just kind of slide.
Yeah, that's
either way is going to be a problem.
That just takes it out
for racing.
But least. As far as I know, it's going to be because they have. I mean, it's a standalone / expansion. So I don't think it's going to be a mix and match thing. I think it's going to be kind of its own.
I'm okay with that.
Element.
I'm okay with that because that would just be crazy. The other thing that's crazy. Dhalsim's coming to Street Fighter V. That's a given, right? Shouldn't he just be? I mean, Dhalsim, Zangief, there are certain people that just have to be there.
Yeah. Like it's one of those that wasn't it was surprising that they announced it.
Yeah, that's what is surprising to me.
Because to me those first 8 or 10 from Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
The Street Fighter 2, the original, you just had that little block.
Yeah.
Those characters obviously.
Ryu, Ken, Blanca, M. Bison, great. I think Chun-Li, E. Honda, Zangief, and Dhalsim. I mean, if you have those 8.
And Vega.
Oh, missed one. If I missed another, put it down there. But I was trying to name all of them. But those are the core. I mean, it's the same thing with Mortal Kombat. The first Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You miss, and to me, I hate when they miss one of those. But for Street Fighter, even more than any of them. Street Fighter 2 is the most, in my opinion, is the most iconic fighting game. Mm-hmm. Mortal Kombat is great. I love Mortal Kombat, but Street Fighter, in regards to the variety of your characters, and almost it's the mix of the real life kind of cultural to, also fantasy bit. It's cool. It's a cool mix and match of that.
I also like what they did. Have you seen the pictures of him?
Yeah.
Old man Dhalsim with his little beard thing.
I like it.
It's fun.
It makes sense for him to be old.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And then they gave us an actual release date. It's going to come out February 16th.
Yep.
So now we know.
Yep. And then Tekken 7's announced for 2016 as well. I'm guessing they're going to push this a lot further away.
Probably.
You don't want to cannibalize this market, fighter market. So
and there's also going to be for those that are into the. Because I'm Tekken is my favorite of all the fighting game series things, and they're also introducing a new member of the Mishima family, and that's okay, whatever. Because that story got stupid with 3, and they just went ridiculous, and so okay, there's another one, but Tekken for PS4 is exciting to me.
That's really cool. I like the Tekken series. Those are really cool.
And like I don't even remember. They released like a free-to-play version of Tekken something. Really? I can't even remember if that was PS3 or PS4. But that's I don't want that. Just give me the players. Yes. I will buy them. Yeah. Just give them all to me at once.
Yes.
And
not
then
locked
I play
on disc.
Yeah.
Capcom.
Tired
of it. Downloadable content is not disc locked content. Those are two different things. Disc locked content is ridiculous. If it's on the disc, I already paid for it. Legally, I already paid for it. It's true. Look it up. Speaking of fighters, we haven't heard from Virtua Fighter in a long time.
No.
And that was...
Because it's polygonal and as blocky as...
But it could do it better now.
Yeah, but the
back
games,
in my day.
What I'm saying is that Virtua Fighter was fun because it was 3D and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
now
we
everything's
have
3D.
we have that now. Tekken in particular, I like the way that the field shifts with it.
Yes, yeah, which is one of the cool thing when I first played Virtua Fighter, which we're gonna talk about this. I'll make this brief though, because we want this to be an episode about fighting games. But that blew my mind. That blew my mind. I was in Aladdin's. What is it? It's Aladdin's Arcade at a mall in Colorado Springs, and walked in there and saw someone playing it, and I thought, man, the graphics just aren't that great. And then they sidestepped. Everything shifted, and I just lost it. It didn't matter about the graphics. I can sidestep, and my opponent will miss me.
Yeah.
Before that, you had to jump up or duck.
There was
back.
There was the people that just hold back forever.
Yeah.
Guile players. We know who you are.
Yep.
But yeah, it brings a new element to it, and it's so fun when you sidestep and then do like a hook underneath.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
We will talk about that.
Yes.
Ratchet and Clank is coming back. Then. Very happy about that.
I think that's going to be really close to the movie, because the movie is also coming out next year, and so
that's really cool.
We'll see how that is.
Yeah. And so we got that going on. This really cool multimedia thing. This is really, really early on, but this is something that needed to be in the news section. So Warcraft, there's going to be the Warcraft movie. The posters have been released. They released.
I had not seen that.
Yep, they released. Okay. The trailer is supposed to be, I believe it's the 5th or the 6th of this month.
Cool.
So that's just a few days away. So my prediction is that you will hear about. They may not be ready then, but when that movie comes out,
putting the caveats on it. Make your prediction.
World of Warcraft 2.
Ooh.
World of Warcraft 2. They might not call it World of Warcraft 2. We're going to see an actual sequel to the World of Warcraft.
Okay.
And when they do that, they are going to incentivize the heck out of anybody who's in World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're going to have there's going to be some way where essentially you may even bring your character over there. There's going to be something big about it, because they're going to hook every single person as World of Warcraft account right now. It may even be like, if you've been playing actively for this much, we just give you the game. They're going to because they want everybody over there. It'll be enough time.
World of Warcraft 2 will be free to play.
Oh.
Yes.
Wouldn't surprise me, because World of Warcraft right now is semi-free to play.
Yeah.
So...
All right, so he's got a prediction, I've got a prediction.
So my prediction is, the World of Warcraft, we're going to hear around when the movie comes out, very close to that.
Just make the prediction there will be a tie-in for the Warcraft movie to the sequel to World of Warcraft.
Correct. Maybe even a trailer before the World of Warcraft movie.
Maybe.
Of the game, because this is Blizzard Entertainment is doing the movie. Yeah. Because they're an entertainment company, so I think that's really cool. So that's my prediction.
All right.
But I'm excited. So Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta is going to be December 4th. I didn't play a lot of the Uncharted multiplayer stuff. I didn't play Last of Us multiplayer stuff either.
Last of Us multiplayer was weird.
Yeah.
In a good way, because it wasn't about rush out and shoot the people.
Yeah.
Like you had to stay with your group and move around, and you were getting supplies and 2x4s and duct tape.
Yeah.
Because
duct tape does everything. But I'm excited about this because I'm really excited about Uncharted 4, and I'd like to see it's kind of like when Gears of War did their beta for what was it, Judgment or whatever. They did a beta before, I can't remember what it was, but I was like, that was cool. I liked it because I got a early on look and feel of the game before it actually came out. Mm-hmm. It's a beta. It's not the story, but I'll at least get kind of my hands on it and kind of feel good. I think it's kind of cool. I wish that so Uncharted 4 comes out in March.
Yes.
Right? So it's not too far away. That's just the 3 months out. That's not too bad.
The multiplayer actually looks really interesting too, because they've got, like, you can have sidekicks and you can have a magic ability, and you can have, like, I feel like the characters will be different because games like Call of Duty, you have loadouts, so you have your specialty or whatever, but I feel like this is the first, like, shooter multiplayer that I've seen other than like Team Fortress. Team Fortress 2 just takes the characters and just throws them all over the place. And I think it'll be interesting to see, like, I think there will be situations where it's kind of a rock, paper, scissors thing, where if I have this character, I can trump this magic character, but then I get topped by a guy who has a sidekick who can beat, and just kind of that.
Which is how it should be. Which is how it should be. If you don't know beforehand, then that's how it should be. It's really cool, and you can kind of play to strengths. If you're like, all right, you kind of play the meta. It's like, okay, a lot of people are doing this. I'm gonna come up with the thing that breaks it.
Yeah. Because
then on average you're gonna find them. So that's kind of cool.
Yes.
So that's coming out in March, and then in June they actually announced No Man's Sky is supposed to come out in June.
Yep.
I am really hopeful on this franchise. I'm really hopeful on this new IP because it looks amazing. It's almost too good to be true, and I'm worried about that. I'm not getting on the hype train because of that, because I feel like there's so much that can be done, and something's got to give. Something's going to be sacrificed. I don't know what it is yet. Something's going to be sacrificed, and June, so that is 8 months out. Mm-hmm. That's not too far out. I heard. I don't know if it was rumor or whatever, but Sony basically like poured money at them.
They threw all kinds of money at them.
Once they saw what they were doing, they're just like yes,
right? Because when it was originally shown at the I forget what they were called at that time, the Spike video game thing.
Yeah.
And and at the end of that, there were a lot of people that were excited about it, and like less than a month later, they announced. And it's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yes, because Sony was like, no, I have to have that
thing you're doing. We want that.
There's got to be a special feeling for that developers when that happens. The other thing,
because it's a really small studio,
it is.
and I think that the June release. I mean, we've been waiting for this game for a really long time, and yes, it's going to be huge and everything, but a lot of it is procedurally generated,
which will help.
I feel like the June release is going to tie it into VR.
It could
because that's also launching in 2016.
It is,
and they don't have a date for that yet. But I think that No Man's Sky is an excellent fit for VR because it's first person exploration, and I can look around at all the pretty things, and that seems to me like it could be a really like relaxing experience.
I can see that really work really well.
There aren't a lot of relaxing VR experiences. Yeah. Most of them are scare you or intense, whatever, but. Just ambient. I'm wandering around this world, and there's a weird creature I've never seen before. Trot.
Because
that sounds like fun.
The three that we know they're working on for Sony VR is Crytek, Polyphony,
which is the Gran Turismo studio.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. And then Until Dawn, and
also Dreams.
Yes,
Media Molecule.
Oh, Dreams. Okay, yes. I didn't know they were doing the VR as well. Mm-hmm. That I'm really interested in. I just beat Until Dawn recently, and with our friend Andy, who's hopefully be watching. Hi, Andy, or listening, as it were.
Listening, so we'll wave.
Listening. Can you hear us waving, Andy? So I got about halfway through it, and he stayed with us and beat the game while he was there. It's not too long of a game, but it's a great story. Cool branching stuff. So and they're going to be doing that, and for Until Dawn, it's going to be pretty much on rails, from what I've heard.
Literally on rails. Yes. You were in a minecart shooting stuff.
Yes.
Like it's. Yeah. I don't know why the Until Dawn name is attached to it because that is a completely.
That's the only reason. There are mines, and I don't want to say anything more about the game. I know I have other things that I could say in there.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it.
We're not going to.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Nope.
But I agree.
It's
between this and Resident Evil, and there are a lot of really things that I think will just shine on VR.
Yeah.
And I hope that these names getting behind it will be enough to push the format. And hopefully it'll do well. Hopefully we'll get to see a second generation of it where it really shines. When it came to like the generations of console gaming, so for NES, people learning how to do like platformers. Then when SNES came out, people knew how to do platformers, and SNES for platformers and RPGs just shines. And that's why they got the NES to play around with it. This generation of VR, this is how they're going to play around with it. Let's see what we can do. The next generation, if we can get to it, is where we're really going to see it just really take off and really do some amazing things.
And it's interesting because Sony is kind of a weird company as far as investments go. Like they either win and just absolutely dominate, or they tank and lose millions upon millions of dollars. Because like you've got Betamax and this PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3 and Blu-ray and like just all these cool things. And that's one of the reasons I love Sony as a company, because they are putting tons of money into this. Microsoft did what may in the end be a better decision to be like, hey, Oculus, you already have the Facebook money. We'll get on board with that and we'll charge forward together.
Yeah.
And Sony went, hey, I've got an idea. Let's do this. And they continue to put money into this thing because they believe in it.
Yeah.
And because they believe in it, I'm more apt to believe in it. And
I am more than I was before, more than I was earlier this year. Earlier this year, if you would have said VR is going to take off, I would have laughed.
Yeah, because it's been tried. We've been there, and it's so difficult to market.
VR and 3D, it's really hard to market those.
Yeah.
Another thing that had like, you know, I believe in the 3D, not 3D as much. I believe in VR for this format though. What do you think about Detroit? Not the city, but the new Quantic Dream game.
Those are two different discussions. We will have the one about the video games.
Okay. I pick the video game topic.
Yes. So when the Kara demo came out originally, because that was before Beyond Two Souls.
Yes.
And it was just, hey, we're looking at this, see what this is, and it's even if it was never going to be a video game, and even if it wasn't impressive as a tech demo, the story elements that are in there, the idea of the emerging AI, because we've seen. I mean, we've had Terminator, we've had iRobot, we've had AI, we've had HAL. I mean, we know they're coming for us. But this kind of takes that whole humans versus AI and just kind of flips it.
It's funny, because the first thing you thought was they're coming for us. The first thing that I thought was, what defines humanity? What defines the soul? So two different arguments. That's to me is the more interesting part of it when it comes to, okay, this thing can talk and understands, it believes, and it knows it exists. It feels pain. How do you define that versus, which I think is what this is kind of going into, but on the flip side.
Yeah. It's the Measure of a Man Next Generation episode where Data went on trial for, is he a person?
That's exactly right.
And
he is a person.
Of course he is. Data is an awesome person. But anyway, but like this, and I encourage you, if you haven't seen that demo, look up KARA tech demo or whatever. Yeah. But it's
and then watch the Detroit
and then
trailer.
Watch the
because it's really cool to see the two different side by side. It really is. So Detroit, from my understanding, so it's basically kind of flipped it. It's not the robot in a world of humans. It's a bunch of robots.
And it's an AI, a sentient AI, seeing how other quasi-sentient AI are being treated.
Yeah.
And it has potential to be amazing.
Yeah.
They did Heavy Rain, which is still one of the most unique. It's the only game I've ever changed a diaper in. and like, you know, that sounds weird, and it is weird.
Yeah.
But and you
it's
can
the
leave
only game I brushed my teeth in.
Yeah, and you can leave the diaper there. You don't have to brush your teeth. Like these weird decisions, and just seeing it pushes the boundaries, and that's what I appreciate about that studio is Beyond Two Souls was okay. Like it had its moments, but like they did definitely push and look for things.
Yeah. It's a very ambitious studio.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Intellectually, not because there are a variety of companies who are technologically or graphically, you know, advancing the field and everything. But this pushes the limits of what a game can be.
Yeah.
And they do it in a very, you know, go big or go home type of way.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And so in answer to your question, how do I feel about it? I am crazy excited.
Yeah, I'm too.
I'm even if, because I feel like even if we do get another, because like Beyond Two Souls had like it had some weird concepts, and the following Ghost and the stuff like it had some weird stuff. But I feel like this is a really interesting project that even if the game itself is the concepts behind it and the idea that they're pushing, the discussions that we can have around it are going to be absolutely worth the cost of admission.
Definitely.
And so I am excited about it. I will get it when it comes out. I don't even care if it's broken. Please. I hope it's not.
Don't break it. It's probably not going to be.
But I'm really excited about it because what it could be. And so
video games are art. And this is a good example of it. So what games are you excited about? What game do you think that you'd really like to see someone just really explore, like Quantic Dream is doing with that? Who are your favorite developers that just really stretch the limits? Let us know in the comments.
And what are some experiences that you've had before that you didn't think you could have out of a game?
Yeah,
like Journey. I got to mention Journey here because it's a game with no dialogue that made me cry.
Yeah.
And you have that emotional experience without the big flowery whatever. It's a pretty game, but like it doesn't. I've said all this. Go play Journey. If you haven't, go play it again.
Play it.
It's fun.
Let us know.
It's fun the second time too.
Yes, and let us know if you played it. If you've already played it, if you haven't played it, let us know.
Yep.
I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Thank you for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads.
If you like what you've seen, subscribe here to get more.
And watch us play games really poorly, right over here.
If you're on a mobile, then click here. I for cards. We have cards now.
It's up there. And we're also on Facebook at Tweotch, and then Twitch at Tweotch Gaming.
Indeed. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at Tweotch there, and I'm at Sabal.
We really like the subscribers, so come subscribe so you can see us more and do stuff with us. Indeed. All the time.
Why do people watch us?
Good question.